Okay, well, welcome everyone to our Monday night call. We are so excited that you're a part of our team and a part of our mission. And every week we get to come together and just support each other and learn together and share trainings and tips and things to help us just grow our business and grow ourselves, because we know that plugging into education and training on your business is going to help you grow faster and to be able to do this business better. It really is a personal development program, cleverly disguised as a business, and it takes a lot of personal growth to really move through the marketing plan. And so that's our hope, and our desire is to pour into you guys so that you guys can pour into your customers and your team. So tonight we're going to be talking about something that's really critical and important to our business, and that is follow up. Follow up is key to any successful business, any successful network marketing business for sure. And it really is critical for us in Juice Plus. And so I know that sometimes follow up can feel uncomfortable or weird, or when you're new, you have questions on how you should follow up and how many times you should follow up and what's the etiquette around following up. And so really tonight, our hope and our goal is to clear up some of that for you guys so that it really makes a lot of sense and feels good, and you know really the thought process behind it and why we do what we do and how important it is to having success, because fortune is in the follow-up, and we know that most people don't order Juice Plus the first time that you share it with them. And so thus that means we have to follow up. And so tonight we're just going to really talk about how to do that well. And I have received these notes on follow up and how to follow up professionally from Allie Schneider, who is I think 39 or 50 Club National Marketing Director. She shared these at the Nashville boot camp. And so I thought they were really great, and I want to share them with you. So I'm going to share my screen. We will get started. Okay. So here we go. So you guys should be able to see my screen, and obviously the topic is professional follow-up. So I'm going to go through a couple of different scenarios, and like I said right before I started recording, I'm going to put these images from this presentation into a photo album on Team Plant Strong so that you guys can go back and save them and use them and have all the verbiage if you don't have the ability to write it down right now. So scenario one. You've asked your prospect if they would watch a video, or you've introduced the product and our business and got no response. So the first thing we want you guys to remember is give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, we want to offer grace to people. We want to think positively about them. We don't want to jump to negative conclusions, because that can just put you into a negative spiral, and it can really paralyze you in your business. And this is something that brand new reps and reps who are, I guess, probably in their first 6 months really struggle with. And so we want to prepare our teammates to know that it's normal for people to not respond sometimes, and that it doesn't mean that we're not doing a good job. It doesn't mean that they're not interested. It just means that there is some unknown reason that they haven't responded. And so we have to understand that they have noise too. They have a life, and they have probably a job or kids or just other things vying for their time and their attention. And so we want to give them the benefit of the doubt if they don't respond. We want to just think, you know what? Susie's probably been super busy, or maybe she was on vacation, or I'm sure she saw it maybe while she was driving and she forgot to respond. So you just want to be positive when you get this scenario. So how to follow up with this person that you've reached out to and they haven't responded. You want to reach out a second time. So you've reached out the first time, you've given them a video or shared the product or shared the business. So you want to follow up again. And usually we want to do this in maybe 2 to 4 days, depending on the person, depending on the scenario. 2 to 4 days, you want to follow up again and say, Hey, Amy, I know how crazy life is with kids. I just wanted to make sure you saw my message. I've been thinking about you ever since having the conversation about Charlie's allergies, and I would love to share this with you. Can we connect on Tuesday after baseball practice? So, of course, not everyone's going to be local, so you can't always put that last line in there, but you can see what she's done here. She's validated the person and not made them feel bad. She's validated them so that they know, like, you get their scenario and why they probably haven't responded. She's confirming that they saw the message and then telling them why she thought about them, why she originally reached out to them, why she originally sent them that product message or that video or that business message. And then she asks for a time to reconnect and trying to set up a scheduled time for her to follow up again. Well, what happens if Amy still doesn't respond to that message? Well, we want to continue to practice what we did the first time. We want to give them the benefit of the doubt. We want to offer grace. We want to remember that they have noise and they have craziness going on in their lives as well. And then we want to give them an out. So this is really important. And I really think that this third follow-up is the appropriate time to give them an out. So here's what it would look like. Hi, Amy. Sorry we didn't get to connect on Tuesday. Please don't hesitate to tell me no on this if you don't think it's a good fit for your family. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. This is all about you and your family. I'm just the messenger here. Sometimes I say, I just want to respect where you're at with this. And so you just want to make sure that they know that you care about them, that you're not attached to the outcome, which is really hard when you're new. Over time, you get really good at not being attached to the outcome, but practicing this and saying this to someone else is going to help you not be attached to the outcome, because we are the messenger. We get to share our story. We get to share this product with lots of people, and the people who are right now are going to get it. And the people that aren't ripe, their fruit isn't ripe yet, they're not ripe to hear it, then they'll ripen later. And so we have to just do the due diligence. So how to follow up. I don't know where that line came from. How to follow up professionally with this situation. So you've given her an out. And in our experience, a very high percentage of the time, your prospect will respond if they know you're not caught up in the outcome. If you give them an out, they feel more comfortable responding because they may have been embarrassed because they forgot your first couple of messages. They may have just been super busy or didn't really look at your messages, or maybe they just didn't know what to say. Maybe they weren't interested and they didn't want to hurt your feelings. And so let's say that you get this back from Amy that you've been messaging. It says, hey girl, don't give up on me. Life is so crazy right now that I haven't had a chance to look at that video you sent, so I just haven't responded. I want to know more, but just need some time. I trust you and see how healthy Cash and Cole are. Life has just been piling up. So Cash and Cole are this girl's kids, this rep that was reaching out. So obviously it's very clear that she is interested. It's just timing. And so we want to respect that. Scenario 2, and with this past scenario, you would just want to say, okay, I totally get it. When do you want me to reach back out? Or would it be a good time in 2 weeks? Or do you want me to reach out next month? You want to help them give you a yes on when to follow back up with them. Okay, scenario 2, you've had conversations and they said they want to get started, but they are no longer responding. Has anyone had that happen? It's so maddening, right? It's so maddening. It's super frustrating when this happens, because it's like you got a fish on your line, on your fishing pole, and then it gets away, right? Very, very frustrating, because fishing, let's be honest, takes a lot of patience. And prospecting and follow up also takes a lot of patience. So what are we going to do with this person? Scenario 2, we're going to give them benefit of the doubt. We're going to believe the best. We're going to offer grace, just like we would want offered to us. We want to understand they have noise and chaos in their lives. And we do not want to start making up our own stories. In the Brave Leaders program, this is called the I don't use the bad word. It's called the stormy first draft, and SFD, stormy first draft, which means it's just not true. It's a story we tell ourselves that because of lack of information or because of confusing information, our brains naturally want to fill in the gaps, which is really funny because Juice Plus bridges the gaps. But our brains want to bridge the gaps. So if there's a gap in understanding or a gap in communication, our brain automatically creates a story. And it's like, why is this person not coming back around? Why are they not responding to me? And so you think like, oh, this person doesn't like me. I'm bothering them. I'm that girl. Like, you start telling yourself all of these scenarios. So you do not want to do that. When you do that, I encourage you to write it down or send a Voxer about what you're thinking to your sponsor or to your support partner in this business so that they can talk you off the ledge and help you see that that's just a stormy first draft, that it's not reality. So here's what happens. Once they've said they're interested and then they kind of fall off the face of the earth, you can go back to them and say, hey, Sarah, I'm just checking back in with you. I'm really good at what I do. And part of that is being good at follow-up to make sure I haven't forgotten about our conversation, smiley face. So I'm going to continue to follow up with you until we can connect again. We are going to get your energy level back up. And I love that last part. You're letting her know you're going to keep following up with her until you can connect again, so that then she can tell you if she wants you to do that or not. And then also you put in a little reminder of why she was interested in the product in the first place. Because anytime someone asks me about Juice Plus or someone is interested, before I even share Juice Plus or the information with them, my number one goal is to find out why they need it. So when people ask me about the shred, I'll say, I would love to tell you about the shred and the experience I've had and how much it's helped me postpartum. I'm curious, what are your health goals right now? Or I'm curious, do you have specific health goals you're working on? And so I just turn it back on them, because when I know what their goals are, then I can speak to that and how the shred or how Juice Plus can specifically help that. And it goes a lot farther, because then you're speaking to their pain point or their struggle, and they're going to be much more receptive than giving them information about let's say how much it's helped your migraines and they don't have migraines, or if you're telling them all about how helpful it's been for your kids and they don't have kids, or you know what I mean. So you want to find out specifically why they're interested. So how to follow up if they don't respond. You want to give them grace. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt, continue to give them understanding, and continue to not make up your own story. Okay, this is the next reach out to this same person who said they were interested and doesn't respond. You say, hey friend, you are totally ghosting me. And you could put a smiley face or a funny face or LOL. And then you could say, it's absolutely cool if now isn't the time for you to get started with Juice Plus. Seriously, don't worry about telling me if it's not for you. However, I know how ready you said you were to make these changes with your family. So I'm just trying to be a good friend and follow up. Let me know what you're thinking. Isn't that brilliant? You're able to call them out. You're able to remind them of how excited they were to get started. You're giving them an out, and then you remind them that you're just reaching back, you're following up because you care. In our experience, a very high percentage of the time, the prospect will respond if they know you're not attached to the outcome. So this is just the same as it was before. We know that if we give someone an out and we let them know it's totally okay to be where they're at with this, then that's going to resonate with them. So this is Sarah's response. You are a good friend and I suck. Have you ever had that text message? I totally have. Or have you ever sent that text message? Because I know that I have. The month of June is super busy for me, and I just didn't have the time to watch that dang video, and I didn't want to keep getting back to you saying I hadn't watched the video yet. Coaching 2 sports now, teaching college English, and going to all of my kids' activities. I just could not find the time. So I don't know if I would be a good team member for you after all. Can you just bear with me for a few more days now that it's July and let me watch it? I know I suck and I didn't mean to ghost you. I really thought I would get to it, but instead I just kept falling asleep. Okay, that is real life, you guys. And if you are reaching out to busy professionals or moms or parents, like this is real life. And so I think we make it about us. We make it about what we did or didn't do. We make it about the story that we make up about how they're thinking about us, when it's really about them. It's really about their situation, where they're at, their budget, their life. It's not about us. And so we just have to remember that our goal is to be patient, persistent, kind, loving, caring, and honest with them. Scenario 3, they responded and told me no. You say, congratulations. Well, I say congratulations. You got them to respond. And we always want to get people to a yes or a no. It doesn't honestly matter at this point in time. When you're going through your prospect list, your number one goal is to get them to a yes or a no, because a no never means no. And that's a quick plug for next week. One of my good friends, Stephanie Fletcher, is going to be speaking on our team call next Monday night. And she's the one that I did the motherhood call with last week. And she is just brilliant. She's a national marketing director, and she has a really cool story of no, not just meaning not yet. And so I'm excited for you guys to hear her story. But anyways, your response to their no is the key to helping them in the future. Now is your chance to show them that you truly were not caught up in the outcome, and allow them to see that it's totally okay if it's not for them, that you're glad that you got to share with them, that you're here if something changes. You could even ask if it's not a fit for them, do they know of anyone that has kids who need more fruits and vegetables, or do they know anyone who is sick often that could really benefit from this, or someone that it might be a better fit for that they could connect you with? That's always another option. So you want to make the shift. You want to go from pushy to professional. You want to go from bothering to caring, and from thinking about what others think to what's in it for them. Does that make sense? So it's really not about us. It's really about the people that we're talking to and the people that we're trying to help. So we want to shift it. We want to shift our follow-up. We want to change the way we approach follow-up. We want to remember our own story. How many times did you have to hear about Juice Plus? How many times did your friend reach out to you? Your sponsor, how many times did they reach out to you? How many events did they invite you to? How many did you get on a 3-way call? What was your journey to getting on Juice Plus? Did you have to try it yourself before you became a teammate? Or did you have to watch somebody else be successful before you joined the business or before you tried the product? Remember the average number of exposures it takes. It takes at least 5 to 6 exposures for most people to start Juice Plus. So for some people, by the time you get them, they've heard of Juice Plus a year ago, 3 years ago. Their sisters, aunts, cousins, brother took Juice Plus, right? Some people have exposures before we meet them. And some people, we are their first exposure. And so we have to lovingly walk this line with them and find creative ways to expose them to Juice Plus, whether it's through social media, through events, online or in person, through free events like the smoothie challenge that Jillian and Jenny and their teams are doing, through calls, educational calls like the motherhood call that we did, through coffee and one-on-one play dates and things like that, where you just get to live life with them and share, take a shake with you if you meet up with them for lunch or for coffee, or give your kids the gummies in front of their kids. There's so many ways to give them exposures along the journey that you're on with them. And follow-up is key to building relationships. And we really are in the relationship business. Our business is a relationship business. And the number one asset we have in our business is the relationships. And so we don't want to make it weird between us and our prospects. We don't want to lose any friends. I can tell you that in my almost 9 years of this business, I haven't lost friends because of this. I've only gained friends. And I've gotten so much closer to people that I hadn't been in touch with in so long. And it's such a beautiful thing that this business allows us to reach out to people, to build bridges, to build relationships, to connect. And so I want you to think about that the next time, hopefully this week, that you're following up, that it really is about caring for them and sharing something that can change their life. So I want to stop here as our time is kind of winding down. I would love for you guys to share any takeaways or ahas or questions that you have based on what I shared tonight. And you're muted, so you'll just have to unmute yourself, or you can type it in the chat.
I just really thought the examples of the wordings were really good, and then kind of giving the direction or the guidelines of how many times to follow up and when to give an out too, because sometimes I think the conversation can just kind of go on and on and on, and you're kind of wondering, okay, when do I move on to other things in life, or kind of give them that out. So I think that was super helpful.
Yeah. Sometimes you can have guidelines, but if you have examples, it makes it more tangible.
Definitely.
Because I feel like I've had some of those very same conversations, just with with different people, not Sarah, my own Sarah.
Right. And the whole being able to call them out, they're your friends. So to be like, hey, you totally are ghosting me, I think, because it's just brings a little bit of a truth to the conversation too.
Yeah. And it helps you be real with them and be able to show your heart behind it, that you're just wanting to love on them and care about them, and you're just trying to get something across. And if it's not right, then that's okay. But I think being able to come to a place of honesty and having that conversation is really important to preserve the friendship and be able to let you move forward. I mean,
right, definitely.
Yeah. Who else? Anybody else have thoughts or things that they loved or questions?
I think for me, one of the things that stands out is just like being upfront about that you are following up because you care about them. Like actually like saying like, hey, I'm just following up with you because, I try to be good at what I do. And that, like kind of putting it out there so that they know that obviously you care about them, but also that is what you're doing because it's for good reasons and stuff, I guess. Because sometimes I think for me, when I'm trying to like recontact somebody, it's like, okay, how do you get the conversation going again when they haven't answered anything? So I think that really helps me to just put it out there, I guess, like this is what I'm doing and this is why, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. And it's not a hobby, it's your profession, and you want people to respect that and respect that you're trying to do your job well. And you don't want to be one of the people that makes a bad name for what we do, right? We want to be the example. We want to do what we do with gusto and with grace and do it well.
I have a question. Can you hear me, Michelle?
I can.
Hi. So, sorry, I lost the internet. Maybe you talked about this, but I often wonder, like, for people who give you a no or like, a not yet, do you have a good way to kind of keep track of them and go back to them? Because it seems like, inviting them to something else or continually dripping on them would be a good idea. But obviously you're not like, hey, are you ready now? Just wondering if you have any way to keep track of those people and kind of go back to them.
Yeah, so if they say not yet, then I really try to probe for a time to follow up. I say, I get that your July is crazy. Would August be a better time to reconnect on this? Or I know that, you need a couple months to get it into your budget. Is November a good time? You know what I mean? Like I just ask them for a time and try to get them to agree to a time for me to follow up. And I literally go on my Google Calendar and I just put in like follow up with Julie and I put a little context in there so that I remember in 3 months, like I literally schedule it so that I remember to do it. If they're a no, sometimes I do have like a no, or kind of like, when people are on your prospect list and they've said no, then I try to move them down to like a non-active list that is just like at the bottom or on a different tab of a Google sheet. So then you can go back and, once a month, I might look over that list and, see kind of where I left that and see if there's, anything going on that month that I could invite them to. Another thing is I try to add those people, if they're not ready for Juice Plus, I might say, that's okay. I know that you're, you still love being healthy and eating well or whatever. I'd love to add you to our Plant Strong Facebook group because we share recipes and tips. It's free. I just added value. And so I try to get them into our Plant Strong Facebook group, something similar to your Deliciously Simple group, so that at least they're getting dripped on, if not directly, inadvertently.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else have, these are great questions. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I'm going to post these images in a Facebook album, photo album on our Team Plant Strong so that you can just download them all or easily access them so you can see them and save them. I would recommend saving them to your phone in a, creating a little photo album in your phone pictures so that you can easily maybe call it follow-ups so that you can easily look at it when you're texting or messaging people. So anyways, if that's all, then I hope you guys have an awesome week. We're here for you to support you. And I promise I will get this week's recording and Shasta's recording from last week up tomorrow. Okay. Love you guys. Have a good night.